जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Canto 11, chapter number 5, chapter entitled Narada's Teachings to Vasudeva, text number 24 and 25. We'll recite text 24. त्रेतायां रक्तवर्णोऽसौ चतुर्बाहुस्त्रिमेखलः हिरण्यकेशस्त्रय्यात्मा सृक्स्रुवाद्युपलक्षणः त्रेतायां रक्तवर्णोऽसौ चतुर्बाहुस्त्रिमेखलः हिरण्यकेशस्त्रय्यात्मा सृक्स्रुवाद्युपलक्षणः त्रेतायां रक्तवर्णोऽसौ चतुर्बाहुस्त्रिमेखलः हिरण्यकेशस्त्रय्यात्मा सृक्स्रुवाद्युपलक्षणः रक्तवर्णोऽसौ चतुर्बाहुस्त्रिमेखलः हिरण्यकेशस्त्रय्यात्मा सृक्स्रुवाद्युपलक्षणः त्रेतायां रक्तवर्णोऽसौ चतुर्बाहुस्त्रिमेखलः हिरण्यकेशस्त्रय्यात्मा सृक्स्रुवाद्युपलक्षणः. What meaning? Tretayam, in Treta Yuga. Raktavarnaha, red complexioned. Asau, he. Chatupaho, four-armed. Trimekalaha, wearing three belts, representing three phases of Vedic initiation. Hiranyakeshaha, having golden hair. Trayatma, personifying the knowledge of three Vedas. Sruksruvadi, the sacrificial wooden ladle, spoon, and so on. Upalakshanaha, having as a symbols. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. In Treta Yuga, the Lord appears with a red complexion. He has 4 arms, golden hair, and wears a triple belt representing initiation into each of the 3 Vedas. Embodying the knowledge of worship by sacrificial performance, which is contained in the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas, his symbols are the ladle, spoon, and other implements of sacrifice. Purport. The sruk is a particular implement for pouring ghee in sacrifices. It is about an arm's length long and is made of a particular type of wood called bikankata. The sruk has a rod-like handle and a sprout with a shallow groove at its tip that resembles a swan's beak. Its front part is a carved-out spoon the size of a fist. Sruva is another implement used in sacrificial oblations. It's made of khadira wood, is smaller than the srak, and is used to pour ghee into the sruk. It is also sometimes used instead of the sruk to pour ghee directly into sacrificial fire. These are the Lord's symbols in Treta Yuga when the Lord incarnates to introduce the Yuga Dharma of Yajna or sacrifice. We'll read the next verse also. Good that Navin Krishna Prabhu give the next purport also, because I don't know what to speak on this. It is just mentioned about the implements used in the sacrifice. The next verse I'll recite. Tam tada manuja devam sarvadeva mayam harim yajanti vidyaya trayya dharmishta brahmavadina. Translation and purport. Translation. In Treta Yuga, those members of human society who are fixed in religiosity and are sincerely interested in achieving the absolute truth worship Lord Hari, who contains within himself all the demigods. The Lord is worshipped by the rituals of sacrifice taught in the 3 Vedas. Purport. The residents of the earth in Satya Yuga are described as having all good qualities. In Treta Yuga, human society is described as dharmishthaha, or thoroughly religious, and brahmavadina, faithfully seeking the absolute truth through the Vedic injunctions. However, it should be noted that all of the exalted qualities of the people of Satya Yuga are not mentioned in this verse. In other words, in Satya Yuga, people are automatically perfect, whereas in Treta Yuga, people are inclined to become perfect through performing Vedic sacrifice. In Treta Yuga, human society is not automatically Krishna conscious as it was in Satya Yuga, but people are still highly inclined to become Krishna conscious, and thus they strictly follow the Vedic injunctions. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So discussing from this 5th chapter of the 11th canto, entitled Narada's Teachings to Vasudev. And we are again in the section of King Nimi asking different questions to Navayogendras. Interestingly, he asks 9 questions, and each one of the Navayogendras, they give one answer. It is very interesting to see, they don't start quarreling over who will give the answer. Generally, when we know answers of some questions, we become eager to answer them. But here we find that all these 9 Navayogendras, they are giving a common Bhagavatam class, and there is only one audience. So even if there is one audience or there is no audience, Srila Prabhupada would say that if there is no one, then preach to the 4 walls. So here 9 people are speaking Bhagavatam and 1 person is listening Srimad Bhagavatam. But because the speakers are united, the message is very clearly going to Nimi Maharaj. In the case of Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami, we find how Parikshit went to the bank of Ganges after he was cursed to die in 7 days. And Parikshit Maharaj took shelter of Shukadeva Goswami, although there were many other sages present there. The father of Shukadeva Goswami, Vyasadeva, he was also there. The guru of Vyasadeva, Narad Muni, was also there. Yet we find Shukadeva Goswami is speaking Bhagavatam and Parikshit Maharaj is hearing him, and all sages are there in the audience. Vyasa or Narad are not telling to Shukadeva, hey, wait, I know this answer. I can tell the answer in a proper way. You wait, I will give the answer. They are not telling like this. So we find this attitude of submissive hearing and of the speaker also, where he is knowing when to speak, what to speak, and how to speak. Because when the speaker and hearer both are enthusiastic, then the discussion on the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam can happen in a pleasing manner. If the speaker is enthusiastic, but the hearers are not. Like one time I remember I was giving a youth lecture, and there were 5-6 youths, those were sitting in front of me. And all of them, it was appearing as if they are forced to sit there, and somehow they want to pass their time. So I was trying to articulate emotions and speak. I was trying to make different hand gestures. I was trying to use different kinds of voice modulation. But nothing of that was impacting them. And I myself started getting discouraged. What is that? Is there some problem in me? This is what is happening. So if the audience is enthusiastic, then the speaker also becomes enthusiastic to speak. In the same way, if the audience are very enthusiastic, if the audience are very sincere to receive the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, then sometimes it may also happen that the speaker can speak what is beyond his realization, just because the hearer, the listener is sincere. So Krishna may make the speaker speak something, and he may forget it, but the audience may remember. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that to the degree we are sincere, either we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we are speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever we are doing, but if we are sincere, we will get the benefit, no matter who we are. One time, His Grace Vraj Bihari Prabhu, he was mentioning that he was undergoing some kind of challenges in his life, and he was not understanding what to do. And that day he heard the Bhagavatam class announcement that a junior devotee is going to speak. He said, well, what should I do? But still I'll go and hear. And that devotee was speaking in a very plain manner, a very simple manner. And one statement he said, which Vihari Prabhu had heard many a times. And that statement was, the meaning of the word Hari is one who takes everything inauspicious away. And when he heard this, it struck him like a thunderbolt. Oh wow, I am undergoing this problem in my life, but if I take shelter of Lord Hari, he will take everything inauspicious away from my life. So he gives this realization that I was just sitting in the Bhagavatam class with a submissive attitude, and that person who was speaking was a very new devotee in one sense, but still he received the benefit of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So here in this particular episode we find now King Nimi Maharaj, he is asking to the Navayogendras the incarnations which appear in all the 4 yugas, and Garbhajan Rishi is answering. Yesterday we discussed about the Satyuga, which all incarnations come in. Now these 2 verses are talking about Treta Yuga, and how members of the society, they are those who are fixed in religiosity, they worship Lord Hari. So we'll try to discuss on 1 or 2 aspects mentioned in this verse. The first thing which is given in this verse, Tam Tadha Manuja Devam, the 25th verse, Sarva Deva Mayam Harim. It is mentioned that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Hari contains within himself all the demigods. In another verse in 9th canto, we find it is mentioned, Acharya Mam Vijaniyam na avamanyeta karhichit na martya buddhya asuyeta sarva deva mayo guru. It is mentioned that the Guru is the representative of all demigods. Sakshat Haritin Samasta Shastra. And we are discussing here how it is mentioned that Lord Hari is also the representative of all demigods. And therefore, in one section in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned how the different demigods, they represent different limbs of Lord Krishna. Like for example, Surya represents the eyes of Lord Vishnu. Then the arms, they are represented by Lord Indra. In this way, different limbs, they represent different demigods. So, it is not necessary to worship the demigods separately. If we worship Lord Krishna, akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param. He says that 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, the first few verses describe about different results that one may attain by worshipping different demigods. It says if you want to become very wealthy, worship this demigod. If you want to have a very beautiful wife, worship Uma. If you want to live a life free of diseases, worship this particular demigod. Different kinds of things are mentioned. And one may get allured that, okay, I want all these things, so I should worship maybe one part of the day I should worship Surya, then I worship Chandra, then I worship Uma, then I worship Shiva. But after all this, the conclusion what is mentioned is Akahama Sarva Kamova, that is 2.3.10, wherein it says that whether you have material desires, whether you have no desires, or whether you desire liberation, you should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So therefore, there is no loss to a person who worships Lord Hari. And if one does not worship Lord Hari, then there is no gain for that person. The only gain, it is some material benefit, but then that material benefit also does not last for long. Because the demigods, they themselves are temporary. So how can they give any permanent benefit to the living entity? For one to give permanent benefits, they have to be permanent. And therefore, when Hiranyakashipu asked Lord Brahma that make me immortal, Brahmaji said that I am myself not immortal. What to speak of others? I am not immortal. I cannot give you that benediction. And then there was another personality named Lomas Rishi. Now this Lomas Rishi was having such a long life that after the passing away of one Brahma, after Brahma's 100 years, I'm not sure about the timeline, but a very long time, one of his hairs would fall off. And after all the hairs in his body are totally gone, he would die. That was the lifespan of Lomas Rishi. Even after having such a huge lifespan, Lomas Rishi was so much fixed in his Krishna consciousness that one time a few of his disciples, they came to him and said to him, my dear Guruji, your hut, it is not proper. Let us construct a very nice hut for you. And Lomas Rishi said to them, life is very temporary. Life is very short. Quickly perfect Krishna consciousness. So the demigods are temporary. Even the people, those who are having a higher life than demigods, they are also temporary. So if we want to have permanent benefit in our life, then we need to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because He alone is eternal. He alone can award us eternal life. Demigods can take us maximum to Swargaloka. But Kshine Punne Marte Lokam Vishanti. Again we have to come back to this earthly planet. And therefore it is very important that we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari. And then the next line says, Yajanti Vidyaya Traya. They worship through the threefold Vedic injunctions, and two qualifications are given of the people of Treta Yuga. The first qualification which is given is Dharmishtha, and the second qualification which is given is Brahmavadina. So we will try to discuss on these two qualifications and how in today's day and age, here in the purport it is mentioned that in Satya Yuga people are automatically perfect, while in Treta Yuga people are inclined to become perfect through performing Vedic sacrifice. If we talk about Kali Yuga, people are totally imperfect. Bhagavatam first canto says, Prayena alpa ayusha sabya. The first disqualification of the people of Kali Yuga is they have a short life. Because you need some time to perfect your life. Then he says, the second disqualification of the people of Kali Yuga is they are manda. They are dull-witted. They are too lazy for spiritual life. And if suppose somebody is not manda, somebody is not dull-witted, then the problem is sumanda matayaha. His intelligence is very dull. If one is not dull, the intelligence is dull. There are so many organizations which one may go to and get bewildered. Somebody will tell that Shiva is God. Somebody will tell everyone is God. Somebody will tell there is no God. Somebody will say you have to be spiritual but not religious. Spiritual SBNR. Spiritual but not religious. This is a new fad which has come in today's day and age. And then some people will say that you worship any God and you can get the same destination. So much of confusion. So, Sumanda Mataya and then Manda Bhagya. He may not reach the right destination. He is less fortunate. And if that was not enough, the last disqualification of people in Kali Yuga is that they are always disturbed. Always there are so many things which can distract the minds of the living entities in Kali Yuga. So therefore to become a dharmishtha is very difficult. Here the word-to-word meaning of the word dharmishtha is mentioned as fixed in religiosity. Now if we go ahead a few verses, the famous verses which will describe the Yuga avatar of Kali Yuga, there again this word dharmishtha comes in, 11.5.34, wherein it is mentioned, Tyaktva sudustaja sura epsita rajya lakshmim dharmishtha. Dharmishtha, again the meaning is most perfectly fixed in religiousness. And this verse, it describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, And our acharyas say that this verse describes Lord Krishna also, and the same verse describes Lord Rama also. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also fully fixed in religiousness, and Lord Ram and Lord Krishna also were fixed in religiousness. So one thing what we need to understand about dharma, now if you see the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, it begins with the word dharma, dharma kshetre kurukshetre. And we find the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam also begins with dharma prochita kayadava. It discards all cheating religions. And then in the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna again says, Sarva dharman parityajya. So much talk of dharma is going on. Again in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma. What is the highest religion to be followed? So there are different levels of religiosity that one may follow. The lowest level of religiosity that one may follow, obviously that is called as unrighteousness or non-religiousness. Like I was discussing, there are many people, those who claim that they are spiritual, but they are not religious. Because by saying that, they can do whatever they want. When Srila Prabhupada came to America, the hippies would identify themselves as highly spiritual, but not religious. We are not religious, but we are spiritual. And how we are spiritual? By taking drugs, by taking shots, we become spiritual by that. And then one time such a person came and he asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, what is the spiritual world like? And Prabhupada said, the spiritual world is like an ocean of LSD. To make him understand that spiritual world is much beyond. And then another time, another person asked to Prabhupada, have you ever taken LSD? Prabhupada said, no. Then how can you say that we cannot get high on LSD? Prabhupada said, I have not taken, but my disciples have taken. You can ask them. And then Hayagriva Prabhu spoke out that by taking LSD you can go high, but ultimately you come back. But by practicing Krishna consciousness, you can stay high forever. And there is no more need to come down on the path of material life. So this is the lowest level where people are fixed in unrighteousness. If they are told to do something good also, they will not do. For instance, Duryodhan. Duryodhan was so many times told that you practice religiosity. And Duryodhan says, Janami dharmam nachame pravrutti. I know what is dharma, but I cannot follow dharma. Janami adharmam nachame nivrutti. I know what is adharma, but I cannot not follow adharma. I have to always follow adharma. That was Duryodhana. So there are people, those who are fixed in unrighteousness and they don't want to be religious. Then there are people, those who follow religiosity for the sake of following it. Radha Gopinath Prabhu gives an example. There was one person. So what he would do is, he would carry a tulsi box with him wherever he would go. And one time he was going to a party and he took alcohol. Alcohol was there in his glass and he took out. He said, wait. He took out his box, took out one tulsi, put in that alcohol and started drinking. Saying that, I am very religious, I am very religious, I am dharmishta, I am fixed in religiosity. But the level to which his religiosity could go is only putting tulsi, not understanding what to take and what not to take. Sometimes people just show off, making religiosity as a business. And then there are people, those who are truly attracted, those who truly follow dharma, those who follow some kind of mundane dharma. But then Krishna wants that we follow spiritual dharma. And what is spiritual dharma? Spiritual dharma means what Krishna wants. Yudhishthir Maharaj was so perfect. He was the son of Dharmaraj. And son of Dharmaraj himself, who was the personification of dharma, he became adharmic when he neglected to follow Krishna's order to speak a lie. Krishna told him go to Dronacharya and say to him that Ashwatthama is dead. Speak a lie. Yudhishthir was feeling himself so much dharmishta. I am dharmishta. I want to follow this dharma. And by following that dharma, which was a mundane dharma, his chariot came down. His chariot would go a little bit above in the air. But just because he neglected to follow Krishna's dharma, which is the only dharma one should follow, his chariot came down. So, whatever Krishna says, on the other hand, we see gopis. Now, in a mundane sense, gopis rejected their husbands. They left their husbands to join Krishna in the rasa dance. That may be seen as a very great violation of dharma. But then the gopis are regarded as the highest dharmishta devotees because they followed Krishna wholly. So when we follow Krishna, when we surrender to Krishna, that is the highest dharma. And therefore, right in the beginning of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Dhritarashtra is asking Dharma Kshetre, what happened in Dharma? So that very question, it says that in Dharma Kshetra, Adharma cannot prevail. So whoever is following Dharma, that side will be victorious. And the side of Pandavas will be victorious. So in the life of sadhaka also, there may be many challenges which may come in performing, in practicing dharma. Because we find that in Kali Yuga, the world has become so degraded that every time you want to follow dharma, there are people, those who may tease us, there are people, those who may ridicule us, there are people, those who may even become envious and try to do some harm to us. But if we follow dharma, then Krishna will protect us. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If we follow that dharma of pleasing Krishna, then Krishna will protect us. Prabhupada came here to America, he was in the Bowery, and he wasn't afraid of anyone. There were people who were with snipers wanting to shoot anytime, anyone. And like it is said here, like some people tell to me, Prabhu, don't go to the south side of Chicago, some places where it is a little bit dangerous. Just imagine opening a temple there, or just walking by on that road every day, at night, at midnight. Prabhupada went to such a place. And he was totally fixed in his Guru's order. That is actually another meaning of dharmishta. Dharmishta means we follow the dharma of being fixed in the order of following our Gurus. And that is what Srila Prabhupada also did in his life. So this is something, these are some thoughts on the word dharmishta. Then the next word, which says brahmavadina, wherein it is mentioned faithfully seeking the absolute truth through the Vedic injunctions. Now in Treta Yuga it is mentioned that people were inclined. In today's day and age we find that very less people are inclined to follow spirituality or Krishna consciousness. But then for us, if we want to go towards perfection, we have to become seekers. Seekers of what? Seekers of the absolute truth. And therefore, in the very first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter, Prabhupada writes a very beautiful statement. He says, the seekers of absolute truth are not engaged, are not allured by the unnecessary engagements in sense gratification, because they are overwhelmed with the thoughts of researching about the absolute truth. So because devotees of the Supreme Lord, they are seeking the absolute truth, like Jesus also would say, seek and ye shall find. So when we become overwhelmed with the desire to attain Krishna, then all the other things, they take a back seat. All the other things take a back seat. But that has to be the prime priority in a devotee's life. We must not become window shoppers. Sometimes, we just go somewhere just to do window shopping. We don't want to purchase anything, but just going and looking, oh, what is this item, which is this item, which is this item, just keep on looking at it. And okay, if I like it, then I take it. So Bhagavatam is not meant for that, window shopping. Bhagavad Gita is not meant for that. Krishna consciousness is not meant for that. Krishna consciousness is meant for seeking the absolute truth. And how should we seek it? We should seek it as great souls have done it. There was one personality during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time whose name was Tapan Mishra. Tapan Mishra was residing in Bangladesh. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Bangladesh to teach grammar. And he taught all the students, and all the students became so very indebted to him. Many of the students, they wanted to come back with him to Bengal. But Mahaprabhu said, no need. That time he was Nimai Pandit. And this particular personality by the name Tapan Mishra, he was so restless. He was just searching after the absolute truth. He was just asking anyone and everyone, what is the goal of life? I want to know the goal of life. And that very night, when Mahaprabhu was there in Bangladesh, he got a dream. And that dream, a very wonderful personality came. And that personality told to him that go to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, go to Nimai Pandit. He is not an ordinary personality. He is the Supreme Person. He will tell you the goal of life. He will tell you what is necessary. And then Tapan Mishra goes. And that time Nimai Pandit is leaving Bangladesh. And all the students, they are gifting him various things. And Nimai Pandit is like bidding all of them farewell. And then Tapan Mishra, in seclusion, he approaches Mahaprabhu. He says, he offers obeisances. He tells him, please tell me what is the goal of life. At a vision yesterday, I know who are you. I know you are the Supreme Personality. And then Nimai says that don't disclose this to anyone. And Mahaprabhu says, I will tell you the goal of life. And he gives him the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this particular mantra is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Sometimes people ask, where is Hare Krishna Mahamantra mentioned? It is definitely mentioned in Kali Santaran Upanishad, but it is also mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat. The verse comes where this particular mantra is written. And Mahaprabhu says, Nimai Pandit says to Tapan Mishra that you recite this mantra. This mantra will lead you to the ultimate goal of life. And he further says to him, Tapan Mishra is very much desirous to come back with Mahaprabhu. He says, no, go to Varanasi, which is the place of impersonalists. And he said, I will come there. I will come there. And then later, after Mahaprabhu takes sannyas, he meets Tapan Mishra. And the son of Tapan Mishra becomes Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, who is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. So here we find in this particular story that even though Tapan Mishra, he was, even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in fact, he had never preached Krishna consciousness before that. Tapan Mishra was the first person to whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. After a few years, he was going to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. But because Tapan Mishra was so eager, he was a seeker of the absolute truth. Therefore, even at a time when Nimai Pandit was manifesting his lila of a grammar teacher, he gave the highest perfection to Tapan Mishra. So even when conditions are not conducive to perfecting Krishna consciousness, if we are sincere, if we are seeking absolute truth, we can find absolute truth anywhere. Just like the example is given of that person, who was that who developed the Archimedes principle? Archimedes principle was developed by one particular person. What was his name? So he got that idea in a bathroom. When he was in the bathroom, he got that idea, Eureka. And he developed that particular principle. Similarly, if we are seeking for Krishna, Krishna will give you realizations even if we are sweeping the temple floor. It is not that we have to wait for worshipping the deities to get realizations. Krishna can give us realizations while sweeping. Krishna can give us realizations when we are out shopping for Krishna. Krishna can give us realizations when we are in a train. Only if we are seeking for Him. I know, not needed. His name was Kekule, I suppose. Yeah. So, we need to seek the absolute truth. Aindra Prabhu, who was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, now when he had first met the devotees, he had got a book, he received a book, and he met the devotees, and he was just searching. And then one time, he thought that I want to read the Bhagavad Gita. He went to the temple, DC temple, knocked on the door. But he was so hesitant. Instead of asking for Bhagavad Gita, he asked for incense. Can I get some incense? And then the devotee went back. He said, actually the incense is over, but this Bhagavad Gita, you may find it interesting. And he gave the Bhagavad Gita to him. And then he asked, can I just see around, look at the temple? He said, why not? Come inside. Came inside. And then there was one lady who was singing, one Mataji. And he asked her, oh, it's a good place. Can I come and stay in here? He said, why not? Sure. So when can I come? You can come tomorrow itself. He was like, oh no, so early is not possible for me. But he went to his father's farm way outside and he started reading the Bhagavad Gita. And then one time he was going on the streets of DC, and he heard the sound of kartals, and he just ran towards devotees because he did not want to miss devotees. And while he was running, one of his shoes, it kind of slipped off. And he went, and the devotee said to me, get off your shoes. I said, that may get missed, but I don't want to miss you. I have got you after a great difficulty. I want to be there. And soon after he came inside the temple, he joined the temple, and he started rendering various services in the temple. So he was searching after the absolute truth. Even we find His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he was just searching after absolute truth. And he found it. He found it in a park where he found devotees chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There was His Holiness Kadambakananda Swami Maharaj. Now, the name of his dog was Krishna. And at late midnight, he was just crying out. His dog got missed somewhere. It ran away. And Kadambakananda Maharaj is in loud voice is chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And there were a few devotees there. He said, who is this at the dead of the night? He's chanting Krishna's name so helplessly. Even we do not do so much. And then they connected him to Krishna. So, his dog Krishna led him to Krishna. So in this way, anything can lead us to Krishna consciousness, provided we just desire to come closer to Krishna. So these are some thoughts. I'll pause here. Any comments, reflections? Okay, thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam.